Okay, so there is a bit of dead zone. I believe it's 10% on the inner. So if I move the camera now, watch how much I need to move the stick before it registers. So that's quite a lot of movement. And there is no way to disable the dead zones. Not via software, not via onboard controls. Seems to be a NYXI trait. There's quite a lot of movement on the sticks there. So these are Hall effect sticks. So they're not the most sensitive compared to TMR sticks, but there you can see. And it's the same for movement as well. So if I move right and left, that's quite a lot. It's responsive enough. As you saw from the GIF in the review, the sticks do respond well. There's very little to no processing or filtering applied on them, so you do get all the granular movements of the sticks from your fingers. So that's really good to see, but it's just those dead zones. It's quite heavy. And I have asked NYXI if it's possible to disable the dead zones from my P1 review, and they said no. So it looks like those dead zones are fixed, unfortunately. But we'll do some gameplay. I prefer the PlayStation layout, so I'm going to swap it over. You can do that in real time. It's just a case of pulling it out. And it can be done hot swapped as well. So obviously remember the, probably want to pause it. Let's just pull it out and then put it in and then press it down and it'll click. And that's it. Put the cover back on and then continue gaming. I'm not a huge fan of the triggers. They don't have any texturing on the surface, and they're angled outwards. So as I hold the controller like that, the tip of my finger hits that edge there because it's angled out that way. So it doesn't feel quite as natural. It's like I'm actuating the triggers from that edge alone rather than naturally. So that's kind of annoyance. Haptics are decent. They're not as strong as some other controllers like the PBTL's Crush, and they're quite granular as well. There is a larger motor and a smaller motor. So I haven't actually got this far yet in control, so it's the first time playing this, but yeah, response seems fine. Very similar to the TMR sticks, but TMR is just a bit more responsive, just because of the resolution and the dead zones aren't anywhere near this big. So I wonder if I can go in here. Nope. The D-pad is tactile clicky. Not mechanical switches, but it is tactile. Feels like a micro switch. Whereas the ABXY, they're very clearly micro switch mechanical. Shoulder buttons, membrane, and the accessory buttons, these are all just standard micro switch. There is a bit of travel on the ABXY, so post-click travel, there's a few millimeters of travel beyond. There isn't that much travel before the click though. It's just like a spongy. There is a membrane layer between the micro switch and the button, but they feel fine. It's nothing. It is spammable as well, so rapid spamming is possible. And the shoulder buttons can be actuated by any area of my finger as well. So if I'm resting like this, then just below the line on my index finger can actuate it, as well as up here. And it's the same pressure wherever you press. So that's good. There are no trigger lockouts, so you can't actuate a hair trigger whether digital or physical. Right, you got. Ooh.